Hello and welcome. I am Brian McCall, the Editor-in-Chief of Catholic Family News, and I'm delighted today to bring you this special report interview to announce and inform our viewers and readers of what appears to be a really important project that is just being launched. So I'm happy to welcome and introduce to you today a man who needs no introduction, the one, the only, the actual, real and original, Mike Church. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Anytime, Dr. McCall. Glad to be with you. I like your background.
Oh, thank you. Just a reminder, the background reminder: we at Catholic Family News try to be at the heart of the church. We are not just standing the fact. We have to be rightfully critical of some things that go on in this location. It is still our home, and we are still Roman. It's important to always remember. So we're here today to.
Well, if I could say it. It's good to see St. Peter's Square with people in it.
Yes, very, very true in light of what's going on there. But a whole other topic, which we've been covering the past few weeks. If you watch our weekly news roundups, we've been covering the effect of the coronavirus phenomenon on the on the church. So it is true that the Vatican has been walled off and closed down basically recently. So we're here today, though, to talk about a new project which has recently been announced. And this is the website of Crusade.Live. And to me, it's an incredible example of how we are called to teach perennial truth, but making use of the tools that God puts at our disposal in the particular time in which we live. St. Maximilian Kolbe, the early 20th century, realized he needed to get the word out to the secularist, atheist world, and what he did, he bought a printing press, and one of the first to sort of use the printing press to get the truth out there. Well, printing presses are getting outdated, as we're learning, but the internet is our printing press, and we're here to talk to Mike about this project, which is going to be making use of internet sort of live streaming, and maybe for lack of a better word, to teach the truths of the Catholic faith. So why don't you give us a little background on this Crusade.Live and tell us how it got started and what its goals are.
Well, it is the brainchild of several people that were very concerned about the lack of knowledge of the social kingship of Christ. And this was started probably about a year or so ago by Crusade.Live Inc. And the founder of that entity decided that one of the things that he saw that was missing in his own parish life and among many of his friends that were Catholics is that when he would talk about the social kingship of Christ, they were like, what's that? There was so little knowledge of it. And, it kind of sounds like a daunting topic, but it really isn't, because it's natural law elevated to the supernatural plane. And what Crusade.Live is going to do is we're going to bring some of the world's most brilliant minds, Catholic minds, that by all accounts, Dale Ahlquist, Joseph Pierce, Charles Coulomb, Raymond Salazar, and many others. We're going to bring them together for one day, very short, concise, 18 to 20-minute talks, and each one will take a different part of the social king or the reign of Christ, the social kingship of Christ, and we'll explain it in a manner that is not for academics and eggheads. We'll explain it in a manner that just a couple of men at a Knights of Columbus Hall, or maybe talking after Mass, or maybe going to the Lenten fish fry on Friday, that if the subject came up, that, well, really, I've never heard of that. Could you explain that to me? And so the goal is to make that topic approachable and to drive the point home to all the thousands upon thousands of men that we hope are going to attend and watch, that this is an integral part of not just your Catholic life, because your Catholic life is your life, but it's an integral part of what of the life that we should all be aspiring to live. That life that one pope famously told St. Francis of Assisi, no one can live that life No one can live the life of the gospel. And St. Francis, of course, said, we kind of are. So we want men to know that Christ is there for them, and that living the social kingship of Christ, not only is it beneficial to their own family, and that's really the point, but if it's beneficial to your family, then it's going to be beneficial to the family that is the community. And so, these men, I'm just so proud to be a part of this with Charles and Joseph and Dale Alquist and others. Just so proud to be a part of this. It's a noble effort, Brian. And I think it's beyond time where people who, maybe you fancy you're a traditionalist, and we tend to kind of get pharisaical about that, some people, and to think that, well, those people don't know. Well, maybe it's time that we started going like, hey, fella, I got something I would like to tell you. It's called Crusade.Live, and it'll be a fun day because I'm going to be the host with my co-host, my dear friend Michael Hitchborn of the Lepanto Institute. So I invite all Catholic Family News readers. I think Catholic Family News readers, even though you may know a lot of this subject matter, I think you'll get a lot out of it because it's going to be from, again, an everyman, common sense point of view.
No, and I was going to say, to underscore that, this is not going to be, from what I can tell about it, dry, as you said, academic lectures. I mean, first of all, you're going to be there. So anywhere you're going to be is going to be lively. And then secondly, a lot of our readers probably know Charles Clune. And so when he's there, it's going to be funny. I mean, again, in addition to being a brilliant person, he has the most incredible sense of humor. So this won't be just some dry, dodgy event from just the presence of you two. But you raised really actually a more important point for our readers, and that's, there's a real danger among the so-called traditionalist world to sort of, well, it's all about the Mass, and we all, obviously the Mass is what matters, as Michael Davies used to say. It's incredibly important, but you can't just say, well, I got my Latin Mass, I go there every Sunday, I'm good, I don't need to know anything else, because the Mass is essential, but it's the starting point. It's what we need to keep us going to do everything else we're supposed to do. And so this is not just, you said pharisaical. I'd say, we don't want to have the attitude of, okay, we have the Mass, we know everything. All those other people that don't have the Mass, whatever about them. We need to bring these important truths that regulate our social life and know them ourselves and be able to explain them. So from what you've said, it sounds like, would you describe this, is it kind of like apologetics training? Would people be getting like practical, easy to remember arguments or explanations? Is that kind of one of the ways to think about what you would get out of attending these?
Well, I think that there are some elements of apologetics in it. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, we have some great polemicists as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Ferrara is one of our presenters. So, I think you have a balance here that we have we have a priest that's going to present. As a matter of fact, I just learned 2 priests, I believe, that are going to present. So I think there is an element of apologetics in it, but there's also an element of filial piety, if you will. Mm-hmm. The brotherhood, Brian. Mm-hmm. The brotherhood that I share with your managing editor, Matt Gaspers, when I have Matt on every week. Mm-hmm. We don't just talk about the Catholic Church thing. We talk a lot about Catholic Church things. But our conversation ultimately will get into what's going on in the world. And just to give you an example of one of the talks that I know the title of, because I help recruit one of the speakers, one of the talks is about how to implement the social kingship of Christ in parish life. Mm-hmm. Now, parish life is not just going to Mass. Parish life is having those maybe after Mass dinners. It's doing pilgrimages together. It's doing maybe, couples night or a movie night with the kids. It's maybe hosting fundraisers for people that are in need. It is tidying up the church and repairing it if it needs it. Mm-hmm. These are all things that have happened under the social kingship of Christ, because at the end of the day, social kingship of Christ is just implementing the beautiful Catholic system of subsidiarity that we're given. And it is, okay, if you can do it locally, which a parish and then a family is, right? Family being the most local, and then the extension being the community and the parish, right? If it can be done locally, well, then do it there. Well, almost everything we need to do, we can be either do in our homes, or we can do it in our parish, in our community. And so it is to bring the social kingship of Christ, not only to remove it from being an academic study, but make it a pragmatic study, a practical study. Can you put this into use in your everyday life? Yes, you can. And that's the goal of Crusade.Live. And here's the other really cool part about Crusade.Live that no other conference that I know of actually endeavors to tackle, and that is 18 to 20-minute, very brief, concise talks on 10 individual topics, right? And then 20 minutes of question and answers. So for the men that are watching, if you have a question, you can, I believe we'll have a chat room. There'll be a way that you can get your question in. And Michael Hitchburn and I will then keep the speaker on together, and then we will read the questions, and then we'll get our speaker to answer the question. So it's also a dialogue. And I think that this is one of the most exciting parts about it. The fact that you have these titans, if you will, these icons of traditional Catholicism, will be, for the first time for many of them, actually very closely fraternizing with and talking with and communicating with very much laity audience, okay? I don't want to use the term novus ordo, but an audience that's outside maybe of the traditional circles in which they run in. And there's a lot of people there, Dr. McCall. You know that, and I know that. Yes. And I think that Crusade Live is like, look, the conversions, and maybe even the conversion to a life under the social kingship of Christ, that audience is there. It's big. And I think people are hungry for it. I really do. I think in this age that people are looking for that kind of an answer that Crusade.Live is going to provide on April the 4th.
No, I'm really glad to hear you're going to have that Q&A, because I'll tell you, several years ago, I did a conference to a group called the St. Joseph Businessmen's Association. So basically Catholic business owners. And I gave a conference on Leo XIII's teaching on the just wage and talked about the principles. But to me personally, the most exciting part of it is a lot of these business owners, then we spent almost it was more time than my conference on some really practical questions. Like, okay, I understand the principles and I want to do the right thing, but here's my situation. This is what I'm trying to do, and how do I make this real in my life? And I think that having that ability for people to ask the specific questions is going to make this really, I think, a great event, because it's it's one thing to go and say, I go to the Mass of Christ the King, I believe in it, or to say the consecration of the world to Christ the King, but we can't just sort of say these prayers and walk away. And we have to make it real, and we're supposed to transform all of society. And let's face it, you and I are not going to become president of the United States. We're probably not even going to become a congressman. So we're not going to change directly the big picture. But remember, as you said, society is made up of all these other societies. And what we can change is our family, maybe the place where we work, where we study, our parish. And that is living the social reign of Christ the King, doing whatever sphere we're in, wherever we are. And it sounds like that's going to be a great focus of this conference. So great information about it. Why don't you give us some practical information? So April 4th is the date for the event. How do people participate? What do they need to do?
So you can, if you just Google search Crusade Live or Crusade.Live, then the #1 search return will be the website of Crusade.Live. Just go to the site and then click that gold button up in the top right-hand corner there that says register. And all we're looking for is a name, a cell phone number so we can send text messages to, and then your email address. This is to inform you and to keep you up to date on the countdown clock, any maybe additions to the schedule or changes in the schedule. Maybe you have a favorite speaker and you're going to want to make sure you don't miss Sir Charles Coulomb, or you make sure that you don't miss Dale Ahlquist or Chris Ferrara. So you'll have the schedule there. And then as the event is going on, that's also where the live video feed is going to be embedded. So you can actually watch the event right there at Crusade.Live. And again, that's kind of the meeting place. There will be some kind of an open forum there, probably a chat room of some sort, so that viewers can go in and introduce themselves. And while we're talking about the social kingship of Christ, that subsidiarity, also requires kind of that that brotherhood that we were talking about. That in the medieval ages, that we hear that so much legendary stuff about the knightly orders and chivalrous orders and all that. Well, you don't have to be in an order to have that. And I think it's just it's a great way. I said we'll all agree. Well, let's donate a Saturday to our Lord and His teaching, but let's donate it in a way. And it'll be during Lent, so it's a good donation. You can think of it as an alt. So, but let's donate it in a way that is very productive, educational, entertaining, and I think we'll have a little bit of humor mixed in there. And I think that people will then be introduced again to many speakers and brilliant minds that they probably don't know, that they know nothing about. And I think that that's a good thing. So April the 4th, Saturday, I believe we begin at 10 a.m. Eastern, I want to say, but check the schedule on the site. And we go for 6 hours, 10 speakers, about 40, 45 minutes apiece. I'll be the host, and Michael Hitchborn, my co-host. And we hope to see all Catholic Family News readers, and that includes the editors, Matt Gaspers and Brian McCall. Hope to see you there.
Well, I really recommend our readers look at this, and usually this is sort of give me the bad news part of this. So, but I think people will be happy with this answer. So, what's it going to cost me? How much is it going to cost me to register or to participate?
0.0. It's free.
So they say, you may not be able to get a free lunch, but you can actually get free Catholic social teaching. So look at this. It won't cost you anything. So you're going to get all the alms you have to give is your time. Where can you get, again, such high quality, and these are names, most of them are familiar to our readers. Chris Ferrara, you read in our paper every month. Dr. Rao. So these are people and you're going to get some free content from them. So this is really a great opportunity. Really recommend everybody take a look at it, and I wish you well with the event, with your MC or hosting activities, and really wish our success to the whole project. So thanks for joining us to share this exciting news, and thanks to our viewers for watching. Remember, we do a weekend news roundup. Both myself and Matt Gaspers, our managing editor, usually released on a Friday and a Saturday, where we cover a couple, 2-3 topics per day that have been in the news in the week. So tune in for those. And as always, to support our apostolate, please consider subscribing to the paper, which is how we support bringing you these videos. So, hey, Mike, this was great. Maybe we'll have you be able to get together again and interview on another topic someday.
Yeah, I am always at Catholic Family News as beck and call. And I would just say one last thing. I've spent evenings with both Charles Colomb, Joseph Pierce, Dr. John Rao, and Chris Ferrara. These are great guys. And I say guys, but women are, of course, welcome to come, and I hope that they do. These are great men. You're going to have a great time. You're going to get to meet these guys, and Vivo Cristo Rey.
Amen. Thanks, Mike.